The chaotic scene is immediately met by the worried Albion family maids and servants, who express their shock and confusion over the young master's sudden disappearance from the training grounds. Lest, though inwardly focused on the princess, urges them to prioritize Her Highness's urgent treatment, murmuring a quiet request for his brothers to be tended to as well. The maids react with alarm upon realizing Princess Charlotte is injured, and servants quickly scramble to gather healing potions, towels, water. Charlotte, however, insists she's fine and requests her brothers be seen to first. At this moment, Lest's father, Dad Albion, arrives, his voice thundering in anger as he demands an explanation. He directly accuses Lest of causing the incident, questioning why he's the only one unharmed and demanding an acceptable explanation from his son. Princess Charlotte intervenes, firmly stating that Sir Lest has committed no error. On the contrary, she declares him the benefactor who saved my life. The Marquis reacts with stunned disbelief. Estella then steps forward, requesting to provide the explanation. She reveals that she and her lady were guided by Sir Edward and Sir Sidward into the Arst forest, which they claimed to explore regularly. As a result, they encountered C-rank-designated gale wolves, leading to the current perilous situation. The Marquis reacts with shock at the mention of the Arst forest. Estella then directly challenges him, inquiring if he truly allows children to venture alone into a forest where such dangerous monsters regularly appear. The Marquis, flustered, vehemently denies permission, admitting his sons likely went without it. Estella acknowledges this but firmly states that given her lady's exposure to danger, the responsibility ultimately lies with him as the head of the house. The Marquis hesitates, struggling for a response. Princess Charlotte, however, once again steps in, reassuring him that they, too, bear some fault for taking the twins' words at face value. Therefore, she has no intention of placing the blame solely upon him. The Marquis expresses his surprise and gratitude. Charlotte then emphasizes that above all, Lest single-handedly defeated a gale wolf and saved her life. Out of consideration for Sir Lest, she suggests the matter be considered closed. The Marquis is left in utter disbelief at the notion that Lest defeated a gale wolf alone. Charlotte then declares her need to rest and asks to be shown the way to her quarters. The maids quickly lead the way. Before departing, Charlotte turns to Lest, stating that if it would be all right, she would like to greet him properly again later. The Marquis remains stunned, internally questioning how his worthless son could possibly have defeated a gale wolf, finding it utterly impossible. Lest observes his father's reaction discreetly. The narration confirms that Charlotte and her companions ultimately stayed the night at the mansion. Lest, unable to sleep, finds himself restless. He decides that if he can't sleep, he might as well do some late-night training. As he stands in the mansion's gallery, he is surprised by the sudden appearance of Princess Charlotte. Lest addresses her. Charlotte notes the coincidence of their late-night meeting and politely asks if Lest would care to talk for a while. Lest agrees. Charlotte expresses her profound gratitude again, acknowledging that if Lest hadn't rushed to her aid, she might have lost her life. Lest humbly dismisses her thanks, urging her to raise her head. He emphasizes that more than anything, he's simply glad Her Highness is safe. Charlotte reflects that Lest is a kind person, wondering if his kindness is why he attained such skill. She praises his swordsmanship as truly astonishing, given he repelled a gale wolf entirely on his own. Lest attributes his success to Princess Charlotte's prior efforts in weakening the monster. Charlotte, however, credits his own efforts. After a brief, polite back-and-forth, Charlotte giggles softly. Lest comments that the incident made him realize how much he still has to learn. Charlotte agrees, revealing that the incident has led her to a significant decision. The two look at each other. Lest's mind races as he senses the atmosphere. A transparent box appears, displaying Charlotte. About you. Lest's internal thoughts spiral. This atmosphere. No way. Don't tell me she's going to confess. Charlotte then, with a slight hesitation, proposes that Lest become her sword friend. Lest, confused, repeats the term. Charlotte clarifies that by sword friend, she essentially means a friend who wields the sword and shares the same aspirations. A rival with whom I can compete and strive together. Lest expresses his understanding. Charlotte explains that until now, her only goal has been Lady Olna, but Olna is simply too strong, making it impossible for Charlotte to even see her back despite her efforts. However, with Lest, he is the same age and running just one step ahead. She believes that engaging in friendly competition with someone like him would greatly help her grow stronger. She passionately asks Lest if he would become her sword friend, a companion with whom she can strive for greater heights. Lest's internal thoughts reveal his reluctance to get deeply involved with main characters from the game. However, after a moment of silent consideration as they look at each other, Lest accepts, stating that if Her Highness insists to that extent, he looks forward to it. Charlotte expresses her delight. She then suggests Lest call her Charo from now on. Lest hesitates, citing their differing social standings. Charlotte, however, is insistent, loudly proclaiming that what others think doesn't matter, and that formalities are unnecessary. Lest mentally acknowledges Charlotte's stubborn nature, knowing she doesn't back down once she decides something. He concedes, addressing her as Charo and expressing his anticipation for their work together. Charlotte enthusiastically confirms her anticipation, stating she looks forward to it very much. Lest, observing her continued use of formal language, notes the irony in his mind.